Welcome back, Anthony and Alex. Talk stuff. We're not a good podcast. We're not a bad podcast. We're the podcast, and a lot to recap. Yep. I went there with it. Week 1 of the NFL finished. We got some WWE stuff around the corner. A lot of things happening. Alex's ride or die, Delaney Walker, dislocated his ankle and is out for the season, which sucks for him and the Titans, and also Alex's fantasy football love.
I mean, the Titans are a garbage fire, really, anyway. Although I understand that I did pick them for the playoffs, and they theoretically should have a better offense, but
they looked really bad. I was thinking maybe it was because of the weather, but
when aren't they? I don't know. It's never like they super light it up. Even that season they did really well when they had Kerry Collins and they started 10-0.
When they went 13, they went 13-3, and they were the 1 seed. They lost to the Ravens.
They weren't a crazy great offense. You're never going to be whoa, they're not
but it was just bad. I don't know if I blamed it a little on the weather. I mean, they had 7 hours of rain delays or lightning delays.
It was weird. Not a good I'm bummed obviously because now I got to get tight end, but now I got to stream a tight end, which is horrible. Usually just want to set, the theory was don't get one of the top guys, because you don't want to kind of waste a pick. So get value and just grab I don't know. Delaney Walker.
Where did you take Walker?
Round wise, I would have to look at it, but it was definitely
first round,
12th round.
You got him in the 12th round,
11th or 12th.
Oh my god, that value is insane.
Yeah, I know, but at least that makes it so I'm not losing out like crazy. But now I'm have to stream options such as I don't know, OJ Howard or Ben Watson or I don't know.
I definitely poured one out for him when
it's not great. It's definitely not great. And obviously I'm trying to trade, but some of these guys care about their backup tight end they're starting. I was it's a backup tight end. What do you care about? I'm trying to get Jack Doyle from this guy, and he's he wants a king's ransom. It's he's not Khalil Mack. What the
you should try and
what the hell's going on?
Well, who is this? I mean, some people think tight ends are a big deal. I actually did my brother and I analyzed the shit out of it every year, and we found in our league, granted everybody's scoring can be a little different, but half point PPR, we do 8-point rushing touchdowns. So but everything else is the same. We do 6-point passing touchdowns, but 6-point receiving touchdowns, and then standard stuff for defense and that. We found that the top scoring tight end is equivalent to the fifth or the fifth highest scoring defense from the last couple of years is better than the third highest scoring tight end. I just don't think there's a lot of value in tight end. So unless you're getting Gronk or Travis Kelce, I mean, I'm doing what you do and I'll wait, but people don't either realize that or don't think it. Yeah, so there's tons of dudes who have two tight ends everywhere and then don't want to trade them.
I hate two tight ends, to be honest. I don't think I've ever had the only time I've ever had two tight ends is either by accident or I do like that strategy in daily fantasy and big tournaments, doing two tight ends, tight end near flex, but that's a completely different mindset.
Right, yeah.
Just because who's going to select two tight ends? So it's just probability wise.
That's true.
But I don't think I've ever had a Gronk.
I will never draft.
I didn't have Eifert during his good seasons. I'm not sure.
All one or two.
I've never had Kelsey. Yeah, I've kind of always had I've never had Jimmy Graham. I mean, Jimmy Graham was a beast. Obviously, those few.
But to get him, you have to reach. So you're looking at third round, fourth round, and I'm not taking a tight end.
Yeah, you basically have to take him in the fourth round. I mean, maybe you get lucky and get to the fifth. It really depends on your on how your draft is going. But you're definitely somebody's going to take him he's he's Antonio Brown or something.
It's people
are going to take him like crazy.
It's all that. It's all how people are going to draft. And, I mean, some people are going to, kind of wait. Other people are going to do something foolish and take a tight end early or, I don't know.
The thing is, I don't mind waiting. But now after the fact, since everybody takes two tight ends, now you're left in a situation where it's oh, fuck.
You left the draft being oh, my God, my tight end situation is amazing. And now you're well, I'm fucked.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was adequate. I mean, because he's always been banged up a plate, which I kind of love those dudes.
Yeah, and he's always delivered, even when it's like, oh, Delaney Walker's arm is on
Plaxico
fire.
was always like that.
Yeah,
like every week he never practiced. I think he just didn't want to practice. But like his like, leg was injured every single week. But then
Steve McNair was like that too. McNair was like that. They'd like wheel him to the field in like a casket, and then he'd come out and put up 300 yards and 3 touchies.
Why doesn't anybody do that as like an entrance, sort of like an Undertaker, like a Michael Myers kind of thing? Like
Aleister Black kind of does it. He comes up from the ground.
No, football. So you come out of the tunnel with your guy, you like maybe a druid situation, like the smoke's going, maybe the fire's going, very Undertaker-esque. They go and they just wheel you to the 50, and then they open the casket, and then you just do like a sit-up kind of thing.
But who pops out?
What we need some more.
Theatrics.
I mean, yeah, that's going to definitely be a fine, right? But would that be? Oh, come on! How many times would that be shared? That'd be like crazy.
But that would be such an awesome find, because it's like, oh, what are you finding him for? Well, he came to the field with a bunch of elaborate procession. Yeah, with an elaborate entrance.
That's 15 yards for elaborate entrance.
Could you elaborate on that elaborate entrance? Yeah, he had a druid procession and came out of a casket with 17 lit candelabras.
You know who should done, like that would have never happened, but theme wise, like Andrew Luck should have done that or something. Like somebody hasn't seen it in a while.
So awesome.
That would have been dope.
Or if that's how they brought Aaron Rodgers out from halftime.
Yes, yeah, very much so.
He was
one. Here's my thing this week, right? Okay, so Ben has the Chiefs this week.
Okay, in Pittsburgh. In Kansas City.
They are at home. Yes, they're at home.
Okay.
And the Chiefs are not a good secondary per whatever statistics, whatever. But they're fine. They're okay. They're obviously going to be in these kind of shootout games all year. We kind of know this.
Yep.
But through I use Fantasy Pros as a website. I really like that website. Cool. And they help me a lot with fantasy. And
that was one of the sites you ran that trade analysis for me for.
Yes, I did.
Nice.
Skill IQs, you can run trade analysis. You can do. I mean, this is not a spot. They don't sponsor us or anything. But it's like
we have no affiliation with them. Disclaimer.
It's like whatever. But it's like they'll take somebody on your bench and find value. Like here's a guy that could start for you and trade somebody on your bench, or vis-a-vis. Like take somebody from somebody else's bench that you could try and get because they're on their bench or whatever.
Gotcha.
Like trade wise, and then whatever the usual waivers and all that kind of stuff. And I just like using them. But they have Ben as the second best quarterback this week because of matchup, and I'm just like I can't do that. There's got to be some eye test involved. Man, I have Phillip Rivers too. I don't understand why I took two basically 40-year-old quarterbacks.
Well, because Phillip Rivers is like top 10 every single year, and no one realizes.
No, I know he's ho hum. I should have done. Well, the problem is I should have done Rivers and like Alex Smith, or Rivers and like Mahomes or something like that. But it just didn't play out like that. Like how the board kind of laid out, I was like, because you want to. In my mind, if you're going to get an older guy like that, like a Ben or Rivers, I kind of want a backup for him. Even though this is the only time I think I've ever taken two quarterbacks. But I was like,
but you were also in your main league. You were also what, third overall?
What do you mean?
The league that you're in. You were third overall, right? Right?
Pick wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to. So you're kind of because you're at the. You were like in my main league when I was at the double. We're at those opposite ends of the spectrum, which means when you're coming back up. And you're not picking for like 17 picks. That means you have to reach to some degree. So it's tough. It's tough to predict that market of what's going to come after the pick that you make.
It was like wait. It was like pick, then 6 picks, and then I went again, and then 22 picks.
Yeah. So trying to predict okay, who do I need to take here? Because who's going to be there in 22 picks? That's really rough.
I guess I could have just gone Rivers and be like, well, just Rivers. But I kind of was like, let me hedge my bets here a little.
I would have been happy with just Rivers.
I would be too. My theory was, I can get Ben, and then when Ben heats up, I can trade him for somebody. Because I actually know a guy in my league that always has Ben. So I'm trying to.
Ben Roethlisberger. He always wants himself.
Well, so I was trying to just. I played in this league for a while with these guys, so I'm just trying to like play the game. Like if I get Ben, I know this guy kind of likes him. Maybe he has a piece I like later on, and I don't know. I'm trying to play the long game with it.
No, that makes sense. I do that with certain people and certain players, and yeah, I never take two quarterbacks, but then I also never take a quarterback early. And in my keeper league, I took Aaron Rodgers at the friggin' top of the third round with the double, which is basically like the 28th pick or 29th. So I'm violating rules all day.
Wow, that's early.
Yeah, which
that is early.
Yeah, I never do that.
All right.
But, I had to. And then my heart went through my chest, and I threw it up when I saw him go down with his knee injury. I also blamed myself when he went down. I was like, I had him last year and he got hurt, and I have him this year in that same league and he got hurt, and I was like, I blamed myself and I felt bad. I was like, I've cursed him. Like, he's down because of me. Like, he never gets hurt or like goes out really, and I've taken him twice and he's gotten hurt twice, and I was like, I'm so sorry.
You know what's so crazy during that game? Like, when that happened, there was just like this. Not only in the stadium, but like in generally like on social media and stuff, there's just like this sigh and then just this like this sadness.
Oh my God,
like,
it was just
like oh, the league's not going to be as fun anymore, like kind of thing.
It was with everybody kept talking about like his comeback and what they were going to do this year and this and that, and especially for that game, it's like opening week, Sunday night. In my opinion, Sunday night primetime games have like replaced Monday night as like the best primetime game. So I get super hyped for the Sunday night
for sure. No,
games.
Sunday night's awesome.
I love
and
it.
Thursday night is like the worst
Thursday
game.
night sucks.
Oh my God.
Terribly. It's
not even worth like
no.
Even if they put a good matchup in there, they
sucks.
will somehow find a way to make it like a 6-3 game.
Yes, it's either one of two things. It's either a garbage like nobody scores game, or it's a game where nobody has any technique and plays defense, and it's like 40-35, but it's not even like a fun 40-35. It's like tip balls and everybody falls down and someone catches it and goes 80 yards. Like, the games suck. It's not
even
safe.
Look at this. Like, Falcons Eagles. Like, on paper, that sounds like, this is gonna be fine.
But it looked like shit.
No, horrible.
It's
horrible.
Just not good. And so yeah, the Sunday night is the opposite of that. Positive end of the spectrum. Awesome.
Correct.
And you get Bears Packers. Favre returns. Rodgers returns. Bears are like on the come up. And it's in Lambeau. Khalil Mack's debut. Everything's sweet. And then Rodgers goes down, and I was just like, well, this sucks, and I don't care about this game anymore. And then he comes back with
it's awesome, man.
Dragging his leg. Friggin'
like,
Kirk Gibson style.
No, I mean, it's
I think people were blowing it a little out of proportion. People were like, greatest performances ever by Aaron Rodgers, or greatest this. And I was like, all right, like, calm down. But I still thought it was, like, sweet to see. It was a good cap off.
No, it was awesome. It was definitely awesome. The way that game turned around was crazy.
He helped me put up 150 points in my league. Turned some things around for me. It was a good end to a otherwise sad day in some areas for myself. Yeah, that was poor Bears. There were three teams that like I felt really bad for the Bears. For that loss. I felt really bad for and I'm not doing it to like knock the Jets, but like the Lions looked like absolute shit. I don't know what
you're definitely doing it to knock the Jets. Don't go into our teams, but the
Jets have talent. Like Jamal Adams is sick. I loved him at LSU. Leonard Williams is sweet. Like they have talent, but
I was happy that Lee.
Holy shit!
I was happy that Lee was. I don't know. A boost in confidence, at least, by getting the 2 interceptions and look kind of like speedy. He is speedy.
Well, he's very fast.
That's his thing. He gets like side to sideline, but it was kind of like, is he like a half bust? Because he's not like, he's a first round pick. That's going to be like your Mike.
He was taken roughly at like what, like a 15 to 17 range in the first round?
16th, 15 or 16, something like that.
I know they said the Jets said something about like they knew the routes that were coming or this and that, but good God, the Lions just
they said they played like
so
a pretty
bad.
Vanilla offense and knew Stafford's hand signals, even though they hadn't like nobody's played against Patricia, like, whatever, but they said they could read Stafford's hand signals pretty well. So, obviously,
it was either great defense or they were able to call the pitches and were stealing signals.
It's a middle ground.
It's shit out of them.
To me, it's like a middle ground. Now, watching it, obviously, as a Jets fan, that is one of the best games we've ever had, which is crazy because who gives a shit? It's week 1, like at Detroit. But as a Jets fan, you really got to take those
as a moment,
small
like,
things, because it's like that's the like 6th most points we've ever scored. That's the best road performance we've ever had. This is like the youngest quarterback who's like started a game in like 40 years. So it's like all these kind of weird things together, and it was like, wow, the Lions are really bad, and I don't, it's not that like, oh, the Jets are really good. It's more like the Lions are really bad.
That's
but
what
for
I
me,
came
it was
away from
I
that
was just
with.
bathing in it. I didn't really give a shit.
Bask in
amazing.
the victory.
It was amazing.
Enjoy
amazing
it. There's like a lot of positive signs. Like I would be
Yeah, because I know
fan.
we're gonna lose like 13-10 to Miami next week. So I'm just trying to be like, this is great right now.
I just came away like I would definitely bask in it. It's well deserved, and you guys got a cornerstone on offense and a cornerstone on defense. It's sweet. I just came away from that game more like I was more impressed by the Lions' failure, and more just like I came away with like another like Lions gonna Lions, I guess. Like I was just like, God,
I guess
like, they just recycle
more
so much.
Yeah,
and it's always the same team. Like they've had God knows how many coaches, God knows how many different staffs and schemes and players, and it's always the same. Just like, well, we're the Lions, and I felt so bad for Matt Stafford. Like maybe
I really never know why people are kind of like high in them. Even their offensive options, let's say in fantasy or whatever, I would never take Stafford or Golden Tate or Riddick, or
I would take Golden Tate for
the
targets aspect, because I know they're going to pass the shit out of the ball. But that's
I mean, I know Marvin Jones had that really good season. Was it last season or 2 years ago or something like that?
2 years ago.
But I don't know. I just can't bring myself to pick them. I know they kind of are wide open and throw a lot and stuff like that, but they can't really I don't know. They can't be really trusted. I guess Stafford throws for a lot of yards.
It was just so they never have a running game. Still don't have a running game.
No.
And they can never protect Matt Stafford. He's always like dragging himself around.
How many times did you think he was like out of that game?
Dude, I thought
he was like dead, like at least 2 times during that game. He took that helmet to like the sternum.
Oh, the Leonard Williams one?
Play, and I was like, holy
when
Lord.
Leonard Williams got him right in the chest.
Yeah, and then he couldn't go backwards because somebody else was hitting him in the back.
Yes.
I was like, good God.
The poor guy. Like,
what a finisher. So if like Roman did a spear, but then there was like a guy sort of doing
like a knee to the back.
Something like that. Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, like a running knee to the back or whatever.
You're like compressing the sternum.
Like as a good tag team kind of move.
Oh, that would be pretty sweet. That would probably hurt for real.
Yeah, probably.
That would not be. You could just
it looked brutal, and I was like, "Oh, why bother still play?" Like at that point, like
I would have just on principle been like, "Fuck this, I'm out." Like we joked about it in the very first episode we did about how like we were not excited for opening night in Monday night. It was like Rams Raiders sucks, Jets Lions sucks, and even when it was 17-17, it was kind of like a shitty game. And then, it just became
it wasn't great, but then it got crazy in the third.
Yeah, it just got really sad really quick. Like, Stafford was getting beaten to shit.
I didn't think so. Oh.
And, well, yeah, you didn't. Stafford was getting beaten to shit. He was throwing picks everywhere. Matt Castle came in. It was just really like, I was like, they cut out of it, like, with 6 minutes left to go to the Raiders game.
Dude, I've never seen anything so disrespectful to like the other team be like, hey, we're going to watch people stretch instead of the last 6 minutes of this game.
Yeah, we're going to watch the intro for 12 minutes because we don't want to bore you with this. And it was, I came away feeling real bad for the Lions. But again, like I'm not taking anything that happens in week 1 and treating it as gospel. I mean, at this time last year, Kansas City was going to the Super Bowl, and then they blew a lead in the first round of the playoffs with the friggin' Titans, and so I'm not taking anything.
Cooled off. They definitely cooled off.
Just a tad. So I'm not taking anything that happened this week as gospel and like blowing it out of proportion. But I came away just being like, the Lions. Like, I didn't have high hopes for the quality of that game, and then it was like, and then I was like, you poor, they got smacked. It was so bad.
So what are you thinking about your team then?
I guess I didn't think it was probably going to be that bad, but I knew we were going to get smacked. I said it before. I think the Ravens are a good team, good defense, not a good matchup for us. Combined with, I was actually upset that I started Crabtree once I saw the weather, because the opening weather, it was one of those games where like the cameras are like foggy and rainy at the same time. It was raining everywhere. I was like, crap. Like, it was messy, and it was not the game for like, our offensive line isn't great, and it was like Peterman starting again, and combined with how good the Ravens defense is, it was just like a perfect storm of terror. Even if it hadn't rained, I figured we were still going to lose like 28-7 or 35-10 at most, something like that. But
are you guys starting Peterman again?
They haven't made an official statement. It's tough because I want Allen to start, but at the same time, like, the Chargers, even though they lost disappointingly, are still good. Then we have to go to Minnesota. Then we have to go to Green Bay. And then the schedule gets a little easier from like a defensive perspective. I kind of want to sacrifice Peterman because I don't want Allen to get murdered. Like, even though I think Allen has better pocket presence, he's exciting. I don't want him to die because our offensive line, I mean, Eric Wood retired out of nowhere. Richie Incognito went nuts. And so the interior...
Always was.
That's true, but he really lost it. Now, like, the interior of our line is gutted. So we don't have a great line. I don't think our receiving weapons are as bad as it seems, but we don't have like great protection set up, and Baltimore's defense is very good, and we're nasty. I know Bosa's out for the Chargers, but the Charger defense is still pretty good. Then we got to go to Minnesota, and their defense is crazy good. And then Green Bay's defense isn't half bad now, and I would just rather sacrifice Peterman for the first 5 games.
So you want Peterman have 25 interceptions his first 5 games?
Basically,
kind of thing?
I'm also... I don't know if I'm biased because I love defense and I love the draft. I'm also not opposed to kind of trying to tank it and trying to get Bosa or Ed Oliver or somebody sick with like a top 5 pick, which is what we're kind of looking towards. I still don't think we're going to be bad enough to get like the number 1 pick. We can potentially get top 5. I just think it'll even out. I think we can. I think we can beat the Colts still. Your boy Deshaun Watson came back to earth pretty hard in week 1.
Yeah.
Texans. I think we end up. I want Allen to start
only because you think the Bucks and the Raiders are going to be worse, or
probably. And I still don't think.
Those are the options. I mean, the Colts are also very bad.
I still don't think we're as bad as everybody, seems to think. And even with the whole like Peterman Allen, everybody's like, "Oh my God, why would you start Peterman again?" Because it's like, well, we don't want our rookie quarterback, who we think is going to be sweet, to get absolutely murdered by the defenses that we play in those first 4 weeks. So I'd rather be 0-4 and then let Allen take over, and whatever happens, happens. If we end up 7-9, if we end up 6-10, 5-11, like whatever, but the schedule gets easier and nobody dies, and then we end up with the top pick. But I still think we're going to end up finishing around like, again, depending on how things went, my prediction was anywhere from 6-10 to 10-6. Depending if the chips fell the right way. I still felt like we were realistically probably going to be like 7-9ish. But yeah, that was not a good start for us. I'm interested to see what happens with the Chargers. We're home. We looked like shit week 1. But again, it's week 1. I'm not really like...
No, it is week 1. You're still... You guys always find a way to make yourself meme-worthy by losing.
Well, if people want to make a meme, they're gonna. Like, there's just... Nobody's gonna really look into it and be like, oh, what happened? They're just gonna see the scoreline. Like, I don't think anybody except in Baltimore and Buffalo was watching the Ravens-Bills game. Like, people just saw the scoreline at the end and were like, oh. Like, even with... I was talking about Michael Crabtree in fantasy with one of the dudes, and he was like, oh, well, Crabtree's like a big number 1 and this and that and the targets. And I was just like, yeah, but they also have John Brown, a bunch of tight ends, Willie Snead. Like, everybody gets a piece. Like, I know Crabtree's the number 1, but, like, he's not, like, head and shoulders above everyone. And they were like, no, Crabtree, like, look how good he did in week. And I was like, he had 3 catches for 38 yards and a touchdown. And that touchdown was, like, a 15-yarder. Like, if you take away that, he had, like, 2 catches for, like, 20-something yards. And granted, it was sloppy and he dropped a couple and the weather was bad. But I know nobody watched that game. And when people don't watch that game, they just watch the stats at the end. Then they want to attach and be like, oh, look what happened. Like, this is this, blah, blah, blah. I know no one's really diving deep into it, so again, I don't put too much stock in what the media says about Buffalo.
All right, well, I'll be interested when you finally make the turn and believe that this is going to be a 3-13 team.
We're not going to be a 3-13 team.
All right.
We'll have more We'll have more than 3 wins this year.
All right. I said I think your top end is 6. That's your low end, but
it's my low end, but it's also my more realistic thing. Like, do I think we're going to go 10-6? No. Would I be completely dumbfounded if we did? Not really, but I expect us more to be like 6-10, 7-9.
All right.
But we got to see how some things shake out. I mean, that's why they play the game. Poor Cleveland too. Cleveland had a rough one. Like, they should have won that. Kick gets blocked.
Dude, that game was atrocious. I don't.
That was another bad weather game. There were so many. I
know, but it's just like, come on, Steelers, or come on, Browns. Like, I don't know. It's just like somebody.
That was bad. There wasn't we talked about it a little with Delaney Walker.
It's like Ben's like this weird kind of. It's like a car that's been sitting around kind of like too long.
And it's sputtering coming out of the garage.
Kind of like he needs, it's like you got to get him up the roller coaster before you can like push him over the edge, kind of thing.
He made some. Oh, you got to put him in like the car in. I'm thinking that movie with Steve Carell and Toni Collette and Greg Kinnear, like their van, like
Little Miss Sunshine.
There you go.
Oh,
and they couldn't.
He's just like he doesn't get it together until like week 4 or 5.
True. Then they looked like dog shit. He was making some reads.
I guess that's just how it always is going to be. This is always what it's going to be. The first 4 weeks,
they'll turn it around.
He's going to look horrible, and then you're like, "Whoa, he threw 5 touchdowns!"
Yeah, and then they'll end up like 12-4, and everyone's like, "How did this happen?" Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Whoa, they should have won. They should have beat the Pats." Like yada yada, whatever.
Every year for the Steelers, but yeah, it was rough for the Browns. There were some rough performances. Did you? I'm guessing you didn't win week 1 for fantasy.
Absolutely, I won.
Oh, there you go. What was the score?
I don't even know. I was winning by so much, I just stopped.
Whoa!
No, all I was interested in is like, am I going to get the top score? And because in our league, if you get the top score, you get a payout.
Yes, I remember.
So, I was in the
big money league, right? Like your league buy-in is like $10,000.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, a little short, but yeah. So I was like, oh, cool. Like it's between me and like maybe 2 other guys. We're like very similar, but the problem is I had the Lions defense, and that looked great after the first quarter.
I hate that defensive touchdowns count against.
That's my biggest thing is the defensive touchdowns and the punt return count against kind of the defense.
Well, but it's the same on the other side. If you get a punt return touchdown, it counts for your defense. Either way, like if you allow it, the points count against you. But if you get one, it counts for your defense or special teams because it's defense, special teams, double-edged sword.
Yeah, I guess I just don't like it. I would rather like. To be honest, punt return wise and kickoff return wise, I think it should be attributed to the individual and not like the defense necessarily. But I get it, whatever. They're working together. I don't know. I just think you need a better.
They're working together.
Yeah, whatever. I just think you need a better kind of system than that because like you can't. The defense can't score, and you put that on the put that on the defense. I don't know. It's just
that's true.
Like there's new technologies that like we don't have to have the same goddamn scoring system from 1995. So it's just I don't know, but it's not a big deal. I still had like I think they still gave me 8 points because they had the return for a touchdown. So I still think they had the 8 points. It's just I wasn't in because I had the Lions defense and I had Gurley going. So I was like, oh, okay, like I have really high upside.
Timeout. How did you end up with Gurley in the 3rd pick?
Yeah, man, because it got weird.
Who went 1 and 2?
1 and 2. Funny enough,
didn't Zeke go 1?
I believe Zeke went 1 and Antonio Brown went 2. I was like, what the hell is going on? I have my choice between Bell and Gurley right now, which is basically like the first pick, and at that time I was shaky on if Bell was going to start or not.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be effective until like week 8.
So I went Gurley. I mean, I think Bell's going to be a beast, and I've had him on my team before and loved having him on my team. But even though I'm shaky on Gurley and his durability, and like I'm shaky on the Rams in general, even though everyone's picking them to be like Super Bowl champions, I was like, yeah, this is like kind of a safer bet here. So yeah, I got Gurley, and I was just like, wow, okay.
Unbelievable.
What? I mean, it could happen. Other people got picked third and got Gurley.
That's like the stupid.
No, Gurley's like the second pick, so he dropped 1 pick.
But still, he should have automatic been.
You should be more offended that Zeke went number 1 overall.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like the only one who should have gone ahead of Gurley would have been like Bell or David Johnson. Like, and I don't.
Yeah, you know what's funny about David Johnson? He didn't even go the next pick. He went 5th.
I'm going to trump.
I was like,
I'm going to trump that for you with this stupid work league that.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, but those people don't know how to play football or fantasy. Sorry, maybe they do know how to play football. I don't know. I don't want to put that on them.
I do this league just for fun. Like, don't really play.
I think you have to because if you took it seriously,
I'd kill myself. And so this is no keepers. Antonio Brown went 1.
Okay. Wait, it's PBR though, right?
Half point.
Okay. I mean, I can see it happening. I can see it. That's not crazy.
Gurley went 2.
Okay, good.
I believe
you're gonna talk the 5th pick, right? Is what you're trying to get to?
But Alvin Kamara went 3rd.
Okay.
David Johnson went 4th.
Okay, so Bell's slipping. All right.
Tom Brady went 5th.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
I don't remember.
That's just kind of like a homer person or somebody that
doesn't know anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you don't get. That's not a value pick, obviously.
No,
that's just like I want Tom Brady.
Exactly, because
that's
Tom
fine.
Brady.
You want Tom Brady.
6th, I don't remember who went. Le'Veon Bell went 7th. I was 8th, and I got Ezekiel Elliott.
Wait. Were you thinking you were going to get Bell?
Yeah, but I wouldn't have taken him.
Oh, you would have let him go to 9?
Yeah,
you just let him keep going?
That. I'm staying. Well, 2 things. One, if I would have taken Bell, I know I would have gotten Connor. And
yeah, you would have obviously would have handcuffed him, but you could have got Connor almost undrafted or in the last round. Nobody was taking him.
And so you know what's funny is I took Connor in the 10th round in that league.
Oh, you should have taken him like
I thought
last.
Somebody was going to snag him. It was also based on
nobody knew. Nobody knew. They probably you could have interviewed 13 of the other guys.
No, but the guy 13 of the other guys in a 12-man league where I'm.
That's right, and they wouldn't have known who James Conner is.
But I know the dude who took Bell was going to look for Connor, but the value was there. It's like, I'm going to take Connor. So I know I could have probably taken him earlier and forced that handcuff with Bell, but I don't think I had Bell last year in the work league, and he didn't report to the team until the week of game 1. Week 1, week 2, week 3.
Well, at least he played game 1 last year.
True. He played everything. But week 1, week 2, and week 3 did not do well. Became Le'Veon Bell like week 4. So my thinking with him...
That's completely fine. That's basically like a 4-game suspension, which I'm cool with.
But I don't want... But that's at minimum. With knowing that he wasn't reporting for week 1, then you're looking at like, okay, he's not Le'Veon Bell until like week 5 at best. Then there was all the other reports of like, maybe he holds out the first 10 games because he can do that. Maybe he comes back end of September, whatever. I don't think he's really Le'Veon Bell and hits his stride until at best, like week 8 or something. Even if the reports are true that he's coming back at the end of the month, that means he's reporting for like week 4, which means week 4, week 5, week 6, he's not great. So like week 7 or 8, he's hitting the ground running. I wasn't going to take a dude at 7 or 8 with that.
I get it. You don't want to take your first round pick where he's not going to play all 16 games.
But I was shocked as hell that Zeke dropped to me at 8. And then I ended up with with McCaffrey, drafted a whole bunch of other things, did some stuff. And then, like I told you, the dude who drafted Kamara was like, I was like, why'd you take Kamara 3rd? And he was like, oh, because you won the league last year and I knew you would want Kamara. And I was like, so you took him because you think I know fantasy?
I like this. A little play the man, not the...
Yeah, right, play the man, not the ball. So, but then he goes to me, he's like, oh, so like,
You want Kamara?
Yeah. So he goes, but no, he led with it. He was like, well, I want McCaffrey. And I was like, are you going to give me Kamara? And he was like, well, yeah, what do you want to do? And I was like, you're offering me this? And so we ended up trading, like, I gave him McCaffrey and Emmanuel Sanders for Golden Tate and Kamara, which I was just, right. Shout out to Fantasy Pros as one of the things that Alex ran the numbers with. That's why, like, I reached out to you and I was like, yo, is there, like, can you believe what this thing was? And then you were already like, oh, do it. And then you ran the analytics, which you are a huge fan of. And it came back just like jumping off the charts. So, and
obviously, because Kamara's value is, I don't know, to me, it's pretty high. I mean, I guess it's not in this upper echelon because obviously people think obviously his touchdowns are going to regress.
Yeah, and then
people are unsure if he can really handle like the load as because Mark Ingram took so much from him, and
but they still kept the load light. Like he didn't take a lot of shots.
I know he's not gonna, but I don't know, his ability to like run after catch and stuff is just so like nasty, insane to me.
It's so great.
I guess he could get injured. He's definitely an injury risk because of like his like playing style and stuff. Yeah. But
it's just crazy to me, like that league, like who went where. I think the Ravens defense the guy who took Brady ended up taking the Ravens defense in like the 4th or 5th round. Like defenses went early.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Nobody knows how to play. That's fine.
It was just bonkers. Those kind of leagues,
get into a real league, bruh.
Disappointment. Well, that's not my real league or my main league, so I'm kind of just like, eh. But the things that happen in...
guys aren't even doing auction leagues. Do auction leagues, people.
So I want to do an auction league next year. Definitely just like a random one that doesn't count for anything, because I'm like, I want to get my feet wet and see what's up, but I am intrigued.
Do you ever do any of these like eliminators or these like super contests or anything like that?
No, I do. I'll like bet some stuff every once in a while, but I'm not big into, or I'll do survivor pools and stuff, but I'm not like really big into that too. Fantasy and the Bills stress me out enough. I don't need like another thing to be like, oh my God.
Why the Bills stress you out? Just take it as an L and move on.
Here we go. Blah, blah, blah.
No, just like, you know,
I beat the Lions. I'm on the top.
Don't have any expectations. This is what I have about the Jets. I live a comfortable life. I sleep well.
I don't have any expectations, but during it, I'm like, God.
Well, apparently you do.
No, I can go in and have no expectations and still not be happy with the outcome. Yeah. Somebody can make me a dinner, then I'm like, well, it's whatever. It's a meal. And then I eat it, and I'm like, boy, this is shit. You can still have something bad happen when you have no expectations.
I guess, I don't know. I just don't treat it like that. Like, I don't go in to watch G.I. Joe thinking, like, I'm going to have a good time. I don't know. I just, like, and if I do, I guess I'm pleasantly surprised.
So you didn't think G.I. Joe was great?
No. Actually, you know what? I ended up watching the second G.I. Joe probably, like, 19 times. Something, like, really wild. Preface that I was like
I'm peyote.
No, I was like a movie projectionist for a long time. So, and this is gonna get into like a weird other topic, but I had like a crazy Craigslist roommate, and I didn't want to be in the house so much.
Nice.
So I would go to work, despite our first movie not being until like sometimes during the week. Our first movie wasn't until like 6 p.m. because we're an independent movie theater. I would go to work at like noon and get like Dunkin' Donuts and just chill in the movie theater and like just watch a bunch of things. I would like do a little like kind of work here and there. But I would just like chill at the movie theater all the time, like all day. And I just watched all these horrible movies, like a lot. Really, I was just in the movie theater, like by myself, like on my phone or eating like, you know, Donuts. Subway or something like that.
That sounds like a good time. I remember seeing the second G.I. Joe and kept thinking, when is Channing Tatum going to come back in? There's no way he's actually dead. And I was like, shit, he's actually dead.
Yeah, man, wow.
I thought that movie sucked, but I definitely
was like, I've seen a lot of bad movies, so I'm
Channing
like,
Tatum coming back? I was definitely like, yeah, that movie was not great. That was another like shitty movie The Rock was in.
Yeah, but I mean, it took him, you know, a lot of those movies, and now, you know,
now he's making like Skyscraper and friggin' Rampage. Those are classics.
Well, whatever. I mean, it made a lot of money in Jumanji, doing Jumanji again now. Does whatever. I mean, actually, he put up his production company, the $7, and him did all the thing for that Page movie that's going to come out at some point.
Can't wait till Roman Reigns gets his own movie.
Yeah.
This podcast
What's it be called?
The Yard.
Oh.
No, it'll be
Roman's Way. That sounds horrible. Actually,
no, it'll be something worse.
Like, it was about the Tyrese's character in Fast and the Furious, but not about.
That would be funny.
But not about Roman Reigns.
I think the Reigns one would be more super obvious and cliche. Like, it would just be like, when it rains, it pours.
Oh, a horror flick. Kane's in it.
Oh yeah,
WWE films.
Yeah, Kane's the bad guy. Kane is just playing Kane.
When it rains, it pours. Basically,
when it canes,
maybe it's a prequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer, because it had a lot of fishing sort of themes. The guy wore a slicker, so sort of maybe we can involve that a little.
So Roman Reigns ends up.
No, he's the protagonist. He's the protagonist. He's like a stay-at-home dad who, like, whatever. You know how they do that. Stay-at-home
dad. Yeah. Retired.
No, not really. Just making ends meet. Has a night job at the factory. Whatever. But you know how that works.
But used to be a Navy SEAL. Very accomplished.
Exactly.
Left the force and doesn't want to have to.
No, he doesn't want to have any. He just wants to live an easy life. He just wants to. He doesn't want that.
When his wife died.
His wife definitely died. He's a single dad.
He made a promise.
The factory works the docks.
Yes,
at night.
Works
Let's
the
make
docks
it more
overnight for some shitty fishing pay.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't want to. He made a promise to the wife as she was dying, covered in blood. Right. He was like, "I won't go back.
That's not my life anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to take care of our daughter. He has a daughter. That's the kid that they have.
Yes.
I'm going to take care. No, he has a daughter and a son. I'll take care of the kids.
Oh, no. He just needs one kid. One kid.
No.
Dude, you can't be a single dad working on the docks with 2 kids.
Dude.
Just give him one kid.
No, he has the daughter, but then he also has the son who's older and is like 16 now and is totally like, I hate you. I just want to listen to friggin' My Chemical Romance and you suck. Doesn't respect his dad.
You can't have both in that. That's not the movie trope.
Yes, it is.
You got to pick. No, you got to. First of all, no. Look, no.
It's very Tom Cruise.
You need to pick one or the other. You can't combine them. Either he needs a little girl who ends up getting kidnapped or something happens.
No, but it's WWE. They're going to combine all of them. They're going to combine all of them. It's WWE. They're going to use every trope and make it one giant thing.
No, that's not how it works. The director, whoever they get, who's
Scorsese.
Like working at Cinnabon right now, of
writing this script.
Yeah. No, you gotta choose one. I think you got a little girl who's also played by his real life daughter, because that's how that would go.
Of course,
and his character's name is Joe, obviously, and
Joe Roman.
I like that. I was gonna say the daughter's name is a play off of Roman somehow. But yeah, that's how that's gonna go.
The daughter's name is Reigns, and Reigns plays Joe Roman, and the daughter's name is Reigns Roman.
No, that's not gonna work. Yeah, I could see that being that could work. Mm-hmm. Fantasy booking.
She gets taken.
Yeah, I didn't want to do a straight Liam Neeson Taken, but it seems like that's where it's going.
Combine all the tropes, bro, and he's got to leave the docks and go back to the life that he doesn't want to go to. And when he realizes it, it's like camera is focused on the ground, on like his feet, and all of a sudden like a fish just drops to the ground on the docks, and then like you see his apron hit the ground, and then he turns around and walks away, and it's just like the view of like his boots walking away, and then the camera like pans out so you see him, and he realizes like, you know what, I have to break that promise and do what I have to do to get my daughter back.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going. This is getting off. I don't know what topic we were on, but this is getting away from it.
I think we started with Delaney Walker.
Yeah, man. So little bummed, but it's the first week, so I wasn't like, oh man, he's been awesome for 7 weeks and he's out. I don't know what's worse, like losing a guy in the first week or being like, this guy's great, and then lose him like week 8. I'd rather just lose him now, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like an ideal situation in the least, but I just felt bad for him. Like, he's a warrior. He's always played hurt, and to dislocate your ankle game 1, especially in like that bootleg of a game, like you basically waited around for 7.
Right.
He basically waited around for 7 hours. No, but like they had the delay and then they played and then delayed. Like he basically waited around for 6 or 7 hours just to dislocate his ankle and be done for the year. That sucks.
I don't know. And maybe they were. Sucked. I don't know.
And then they're not giving Derrick Henry the ball. They're giving it to friggin' Dion Lewis.
Dude.
What the fuck?
Yeah, actually, you know what? Now I'm going to try to use this to acquire Derrick Henry somehow.
Well, Derrick Henry...
Because I'm like, it's going to regress back. Like, there's no way they're going to use...
You think?
I just feel like they can't use Dion Lewis as a 3-down back. And if they do, he's going to injure himself. Just because I don't know. I just feel like that's what's going to happen.
I offered the dude who has Dalvin Cook. I offered him Jamison Crowder and Derrick Henry for Dalvin Cook as a jump-off point see what we would go with. Well, just using it as a starting point. And I want to see where we go from there. Like, I'll obviously...
You know what? I did a lot of starting point trades, and I just got, like, no response. I even wrote in the comments, notes.
Yo, I do that
and
all
I just
the time.
got nothing. I just got straight rejected nothing. I'm like, come on, give me a little something back.
That's
like,
what
sorry, man, I really like this guy. Give me something.
Yeah, or like, no, I'm not going to trade this, or I do this. I do that all the time. I'll be like, hey... If you want to do this trade, cool. But I understand if it's a jump-off point, just let me know if it's a no, or if you want to negotiate what's up. I hate getting the no response.
I'm just getting straight no's. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Thanks for the friggin' camaraderie and the collaboration.
Yeah, I've done a lot. I've looked at like trade analyzers. I made sure Yahoo doesn't say it's like a negative trade for you or whatever because with their stupid like point projection and evaluate trade button.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm doing a lot here, and you just go no. Whatever.
I'm crafting something.
Playing the game.
I'm crafting something that could either work out for both of us or that I'm using as a logical jump-off point so that we can still both benefit like any trade should. And I'm thinking about it and wondering, yeah.
You know what? Maybe it's week one. It's week one. People are really high in their people or something like that. You know, I'm like, okay. Let somebody have a couple bad weeks. Derrick Henry has a couple bad weeks. I'm jumping on it. Because this was my thing about I'm trying to do the opposite of what happened to Ingram. Ingram had like 4 bad weeks, and I was like, I'm completely off it. Same thing with Cam.
Mm-hmm.
And then those guys went on to be complete beasts. So I'm like, this is it.
I almost traded
this
Ingram
window. This is the perfect trade window. That week 2, 3, 4, that kind of window, that's the time to really get people. Because it's like, a little down, but it's just not saying like, that it's going to trend the whole season like that. Maybe they just had tough matchups for a few weeks or something.
If you're capitalizing on things like that, I feel like I should trade Kamara for like AJ Green, Ezekiel Elliott, and like Christian McCaffrey. Something crazy.
I guess. I want AJ Green now just because I think he's like, ho-hum, sneaky, like Phillip Rivers for wide receivers. And
yeah, no, he gets more play than he's not the Phillip Rivers of receivers.
He is.
Yeah,
when you say that name, it does nothing. No emotions run across your face.
He's an elite fantasy receiver, though.
You don't really think.
I think that.
Saying that. You don't think that.
I 100% think that.
There's no way you think he's like an elite fantasy. He's not the name that comes to mind when you think who you picking a fantasy. Like
I'm gonna put.
You wouldn't think he's a top 6 or 7 guy.
I would, yes.
I mean, I guess you would, but I'm just like
I've also had him.
You're like, oh, Antonio Brown, oh, Odell or whatever. Those people come to your mind.
But if I'm
AJ Green, people are just like, yeah, I guess I ended up with AJ Green. People, I bet more people say I ended up with AJ Green than I got AJ Green.
That's probably true. I would be happy as shit though. Like if you told me like if I was picking like,
did I tell you in the second round that Dalvin Cook almost ended up falling to me?
Oh,
dude, that would have been crazy. That would have been crazy. That was the 23rd pick.
Oh my god!
I was like, what are people thinking? He went one before me.
My keeper league, he got scooped up in the first.
He was 12.
Got taken. Damn, he got taken. He got taken like 20th in my league.
Okay.
He was close to getting to me. Him and McCaffrey were both close to getting to me. But if I was in like a regular draft and you told me like, I guess to get both dudes, like if I was like picking middle of the draft, like 7th or 8th, and so like my first pick was like Kamara or McCaffrey or Cook or somebody, and then coming back down the snake, I got AJ Green, I would be happy as shit.
Yeah, I mean, originally I thought I would be I was kind of thinking I was going to get David Johnson. And then I was hoping I would get Devontae Freeman. And I ended up in a situation where I got Gurley. I thought I'd get Cook. I ended up with Devontae Freeman, but I was like angry about it now, as opposed to being like happy that he fell to me. mainly because I don't like the Falcons offense.
No.
So I got Freeman, then I had to back it up with giving Tevin Coleman because
I hate the forced handcuff.
I mean, it is what it is. I just felt like, okay, and now I need both of them because
I still find it
they're kind of both half good. So
yeah, so they make one complete back.
I'm just hoping.
I just find it still inexcusable that Todd Gurley dropped you at 3. There's no reason Todd Gurley should have dropped a 3.
Dude,
Todd Gurley should be, but he should be top 2 given.
No, I mean, well, he doesn't have the name value, bro.
But even for all the herbs out there who are looking at fantasy mocks and magazines, like they should know Todd Gurley is like number 1.
I mean, if you're dead set, whatever.
Especially
in the first round, you're not going to get that guy again. If you really like a guy, whatever, then pick him. Like if you think like, oh, I'm not going to get this guy. If I like Antonio Brown and I am like value be damned, whatever Barry says, don't care. Like it's like I want Antonio Brown. Whatever, you're not going to get another chance at him, so take him.
But in today's day and age, the workhorse lead back is extremely rare. It's pretty much Zeke, Gurley, Bell, I guess Barkley now. That's why Kamara is such an outlier and an anomaly because even this week as being the number 1 dude on the field for all the time, he still only had 8 carries and he put up like almost 40 friggin' fantasy points, like depending on your scoring. Like he's just so awesome, but the opportunity to get a lead back who's going to get the volume. Oh, and David Johnson is thrown into that Todd Gurley mix. To have somebody,
any of those dudes though, like,
but to have somebody, the value of having a 3 down back who gets the goal line carries, gets receptions, gets rushes, gets touches, gets volume, and is on a good enough team. That is so rare.
I just don't like it. There's knocks on all of them, and I'm just like,
if you want a receiver though, like you could take Gurley at 1 or 2, and then coming back down, if you're still having a realistic shot at a pretty good receiver, you're still able to get like an Adam Thielen or like a Mike Evans or like a Diggs, like somebody who can be sweet.
I have more problems with Zeke because I just don't see it.
Just on volume alone, I think he's going to do his thing. Like he's going to get the rushing touchdowns, and I think the Cowboys are going to be trash.
Yeah, it's like what touchdowns are there to be had?
But they're still going to score a couple.
The offensive line is worse, and people don't like realize it. I mean, it's really because he had this weird freebie year last year. It was like, is he playing? Is he not playing? When he played, they kind of like won or like he did all right.
Right.
And so you didn't really like see it as much, and you still think you're getting the Zeke of like 2 years ago. And I just think not that like he's worse or whatever. I just feel like that line that they gave him was like the reason he was like so good. Not that you could have put anybody there, but a lot of backs would have had that season.
McFadden and Morris ran behind that line, they did well. And I know Frederick's out and Martin was banged up a little bit, but I think their line is still good enough to get the job done. And I think they're
just not going to win. And I just want,
No, but I'm cool with getting the guy who's going to get all that volume. And it depends on where I'm going. Like, again, if I'm, like, I personally, I mean, I also like Kamara a lot. Like, I would have taken Kamara ahead of Zeke. But if I'm sitting there, like, in a non-keeper league, and I'm at, like, pick 8 or something, or 9, basically where I was in that stupid work league, like, and Zeke is there, oh my God, I'm jumping all over that. Because having a 3-down running back that gets everything, knock on wood, is so rare in today's NFL. Like, Priest Holmes is gone, LaDainian Tomlinson's gone, Larry Johnson is gone, like, Curtis Martin, Eddie George, like, these dudes that got everything aren't there anymore. So the drop-off between running back 1 and running back 10 is so much bigger than receiver 1 and receiver 10.
I think it's because, okay, granted, there's not a lot of, like, workhorse backs, but that's because the NFL has evolved and changed to what it is. I mean, even like 5 years ago, it was a completely like different league.
Correct.
And I just think like they're like phasing themselves out. I don't care how much I understand the value because there is a lot of value. But if these guys just ran and didn't catch, then the value would be very equal. I think it just so happens that
but that's the whole point.
Or whatever. No, I get that they come out of the backfield and they catch. But if you're talking about like a Leonard Fournette kind of thing,
different.
Then really the value is not there. And I think it's only going to continue to go down where you're not going to have these guys, because I think you're going to have like 2 down back kind of things, or whatever. That's not going to happen. But like,
no, I can
you're just going to have more split committees or package backs. Where it's like we're running a certain package,
like
blah,
the
blah,
Bears,
blah. Like the Patriots. Like the Patriots have always kind of done this.
Yeah,
like
you're right.
You can't trust any of those running backs, but like sometimes they have really, James White is going to have a really good day, and then he's going to be like inactive or whatever they're going to do. Like, so I just think you're going to see more of that kind of going forward, and kind of these guys are going to get phased out. I don't know what that does for fantasy, really. I would imagine now you lean heavily on the receivers you think are going to get a ton of volume, or however that goes. But yeah, I guess right now, obviously, there's not a lot of guys because the NFL is just changing. I mean,
and I agree with that, but that's why it's so, like, if you can get
the teams don't. That's the problem. Is that's why I have knocks on it, except for Gurley, I guess. Like, are these guys who are like, I'm like the bell cow running back? Like, do these teams like win? You know what I'm saying? You have Bell and Gurley, but then you also have like David Johnson and Zeke. These aren't like,
but they're still going to get you a bunch of good. Like, David Johnson still put up. The Cardinals look like complete shit this weekend, and David Johnson still put up like 20 points.
I get that, but I don't want to face. I really don't want to face the Rams twice, and I don't want to face. And I don't want to be in a situation where they're like, well, we got to make Rosen look good and have him throw slant routes.
But they're still going to
justify our front office. And
but
like
David Johnson got that contract extension. He's still going to put up stuff like having.
Not on that DJ
and again,
life.
But just the opportunity to get someone who's going to be on the field for 97% of the snaps, that in and of itself, for a running back, is is huge. Let alone when they can receive and rush. Like, so that's why Gurley, David Johnson, Zeke, Bell. I'm going to throw James Conner into that mix because he killed it in Bell's place. Those backs that can do that on those teams, dude, it's so...
I get it, but like, I feel like it's...
I just find it inexcusable.
I don't want a guy who has like 25 carries, like Gurley had like 25 carries and 108 yards, right? So that's getting you typically right. That's what I'm saying. But if he didn't have the receiving touchdown, that's just like whatever. Like, I don't care that he's the bell horse running back and almost had 30 carries, because he's not getting like a rushing touchdown or a receiving touchdown. He just luckily got the receiving touchdown, if that is even a pass. That thing.
I agree, but again, that's a different thing. Like, that's why, like, for me, not necessarily like, well, in order, like Bell, or not in order, like Gurley, Bell, Connor, David Johnson, Ezekiel Elliott, like those dudes are higher than Fournette would be. Like, Fournette gets thrown into the next tier, or even dudes like McCaffrey, who maybe isn't going to get the touchdown like Fournette would get, but he's going to get you like 70 rushing yards, 60 receiving yards, and like 6 catches every game, something like that. Like, there's different tiers to it, but again, Leonard Fournette is not who I'm talking about. He's not that. He's a workhorse NFL running back, but he's not a workhorse fantasy running back because he doesn't get those catches. That, again, my whole thing, going back to like the initial thing of it, like for your other league, like the fact that Zeke went 1 boggles my mind, especially this year. Like, that he went 1, crazy. And I can understand Antonio Brown to a degree, but
man, it's not like,
but still, like, really... you gotta know to a degree.
Who cares? I don't care if people do that. That's great. I want more of those people. I like making money.
I want. Thanks. I mean, yeah, like,
thank you for giving me your money. Move along.
Move along. Nothing to see here. It's I'm not disagreeing with you with that, but it's just, yeah, like, I don't really want to see bootleg shit, and just that's wow.
Doesn't matter. The whole thing's bootleg. We're not playing auction. We're not even doing auction.
I don't think auction makes regular fantasy bootleg.
No, I'm just saying, like, snake draft PPR is like, I mean, I do it, but it's like Bud Light.
No.
Yes, it is.
Stop.
It is. It's what just everyone has. It's like the standard. It's not anything special, and it's not what like real beer drinkers in that case would be like drinking on, like, a regular day.
I feel like auction drafts could be cool, but I also think it's just like some hipster shit that people just want to be like, well, I drink this IPA, and it's like, all right, guy. Calm down.
Some of them are good, guy.
See, that's you. Because that's you.
No, not really. I don't.
I'm going to Williamsburg to drink this IPA. It's like, all right, calm
don't
down.
go to Williamsburg.
Calm down with your fucking.
I don't go to Williamsburg at all.
Turtleneck sweater.
Because Williamsburg sucks. Except for.
Of course, that's such a hipster thing to say because you've moved down from Williamsburg.
I never lived in Williamsburg. Except for there's a whiskey bar there that's always been good. But
it's such a hipster
no, but that got crazy, like, you know how that got. It got crazy, like, commercialized and all, like, it's just like yuppie kind of people live there now. It's just like people who have, like, I don't know, you have to, you know, pay, I don't know, a mint, it's going to be like $3,000 over there. So it's not like
fucking studio.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, if you're trying to, like, get close to McCarran Park or get close to whatever. This is going off topic because nobody knows Brooklyn that well.
There's somebody who's listening that knows. Someone lives near there and is like, I live there.
Yeah, maybe.
Or someone's just like, or someone's just with the gratuitous Brooklyn, just because we named it.
No, but I just feel like, you know, if we're gonna, and I'm trying to convince our main league to do auction at some point. I just feel like that's it, because now you get any guy you want. I'm gonna keep harping.
So let's do an auction league next year. I mean, I don't want to do it for money because I've never done one, and I'm not trying to get fleeced. But
who cares?
I would like to do one.
Who's done a ton of auction leagues?
I mean, I don't know. You have way more experience than I do. I didn't even know the rules of it until we did that episode.
No, I've only done like 2 or 3 auction leagues.
Still, but you're also an analytics guy. Like, you've studied the fuck out of it, and you've done 2 or 3. I haven't studied it.
No, you know what? You know what's funny though? It's like
I can study it
just because, you know, PPR or whatever is like the thing. Getting auction information is like, not that it's like impossible or whatever, but it's not. You can't get a lot of different sources of auction information. You get like your value charts and like what people should go for and stuff, and you basically just roll with that. But there's a feel to it too, because you kind of. It's nice to know the people in your league, who they like, yada yada.
Right. It's almost like playing poker. Like, you got to play the man.
A little bit, yeah. Because then it's like, well, and then your bias come in. It's like, because, you know, it's like, I don't know, you Brady or Breeze or whatever. If you really like them, like, you're willing to pay how much? Like, how much? What's percentage? You know, what percentage are you willing to give them? Basically, of your thing. Also, people that play for the first time don't realize that. Like from pick 8 on, almost like everyone's like $1 or $2. Right. I think everyone thinks they're gonna like $5 is some sort of min, but really after like pick 10, everyone's like $1.
Well, see, those are little things that you only know from doing those drafts.
No, just once though. Once you do it once, you're like, oh, okay.
Well, that's gonna be my one, and then
like I spent way, you know, like I didn't spend enough money up front because I was trying to be conservative because I was like, oh, in round 10, I'm going to be able to spend $3. Like, well, you don't need to spend $3.
And because you got to use that same money for waivers throughout the year, so you need it to last.
Yeah, so you can kind of, yes, you can go about it that way if you want to do. I mean, I've seen auction leagues where then the waiver process is like the same waiver process as normal, okay, and you just use all your money for the actual draft. And then I've seen auctions where, yes, leftover money will be used for waivers. So it's like, then there's even more like, okay, how much money do I want to hang on to? But even then, in waiver situation, no one's going to go for more than like $3 or $4. Like, so.
I remember when PPR was like the new thing.
I know.
Have you done PPR? And it's like, what does PPR stand for? And now it's like auctions, and then
but now PPR is the standard league. Like, it is the more played league. Like,
well, that's why I like my main league is like, well, my real like only league now. Half point PPR, 8-point rushing touchdowns. There's little nuances that keep it.
Oh, that's interesting. That's weird.
Yeah, we do 8-point rushing touchdowns and half point PPR.
Well, then I mean, it's so skewed towards the running backs. It's like,
well, we did it to make it more even, because like, if you were just doing a regular draft, the first, like, however many picks, or everybody was like picking receiver, because it was like, oh, half point PPR, catches. And now the 8-point rushing touchdown, it adds another layer to it.
2 quarterbacks. Never like that.
It depends on what I'm doing. If I get like a dude who, like, I took Aaron Rodgers. So I didn't take I took Carr with the last pick in the draft just because he was there, and I was like, just in case anything happens.
No. A league where you start two quarterbacks, not using a backup quarterback.
No, I've never done that.
Yeah. It's actually like somewhat common or whatever. It's just like.
Have you ever done one of those scoring only leagues where the only thing that counts are like touchdowns and field goals?
No, but I'm for that.
That seems crazy. No. Like kickers go like in the second round, like it's nuts.
Yeah. Kickers obviously have
kickers and quarterbacks
crazy high value, and then you have to like try to predict touchdowns, which is like the hardest thing to predict.
So Julio's week 1 with like 10 for 160 is like useless in that league because he didn't have a touchy. He didn't score.
Yeah, that's why you have to really know like touchdown vultures, like running back wise.
Yeah, fucking LeGarrette
Blount. And also like jump ball guys, like your Jimmy Graham kind of things. And then other guys who scored a lot of touchdowns, your Gronks and stuff like that. It's hard. It's hard. Touchdowns are hard.
Yeah, it's hard to predict because they can be so randomized.
Exactly.
Have you ever done a league with like an individual defensive player?
Yes.
I've never done one of those.
I did a lot of them when I was younger, yeah.
In your younger years.
That was the common thing a while ago, like in the early 2000s. It was very common to do
back in those days.
Yeah. It was very common to do an individual like player.
I've never had an individual player.
I had Ray Lewis one year. I was happy.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. But where do you take a guy like that? Like how valuable is that one defensive player?
You have to see what the
scoring is.
I forgot what the standard scoring is. Yeah, but it depends because some people would mess with like fumbles and interceptions, and then if they would mess with the interceptions, then it'd be skewed towards like obviously cornerbacks. But normally it was skewed towards linebackers, I think, because of tackles. Like tackles were like a half point or a point.
Yeah.
So it was naturally skewed towards guys who had a lot of tackles, your Ray Lewis's and whoever.
Oh yeah. So Luke Kuechly is like cleaning up because he's averaging like
10 exactly. So just people kind of like, no, I can't. I don't know. Like on my team, like Avery Williamson, the guy we signed in the offseason, he like tackles a ton, like a shit ton of people. You know, David Harris even like always had a shit ton of tackles. So they actually be pretty valuable in that league. But I don't know because I haven't played in so long. I'm sure it's kind of more rounded out. But it was always just cornerbacks and middle linebackers. Like there was no
that makes sense.
Unless you could get a Strahan crazy year, obviously like he did, and the sacks would like make up for it. Like usually tackles, because like 16 tackles, okay, that's at half a point, whatever. I mean, I don't care that you had 2 sacks this game because my guy had like 16 tackles.
Yeah, so that completely outweighs it and overshadows it.
Yeah.
Those little wrinkles are interesting. I'm wondering what will be like the new thing in like 5 or 10 years when like we're sitting here like 10 years from now with the number 1 podcast in the world, and it's like auction is stupid. The new thing is alien drafts.
I want offense only. Because I don't think
what it is now.
No, I don't think. No, I want
no kicker, no defense.
No kicker, no defense. I don't, because for the most part, like the what to do is to stream a defense, and
unless you find like a crazy if I.
I mean, whatever. If you want to sit on the Vikings the whole year, then that's
but
fine.
I'm only going to sit on the Vikings all year if I can get them. Like if I've got like 16 roster spots and I can get the Vikings in like the 13th round, I'll take them, but I'm not taking them in like round 9.
But to me, it's just kind of like a little bit of a waste because what's going to happen. Like kickers, there's very few, I don't know, there's not a big difference between like them. And I don't think it's not like, they provide great value or whatever. I'd rather have another like wide receiver spot and be able to start like this, like kind of deep sleeper wide receiver or something like that I want to do, or make another flex instead of the kicker and just be like, okay, you can, do whatever you want. What's the strategy there? Do I get another like tight end? Do I get another running back? Whatever. There's a little more leeway. So I just want offense only. I don't really give a shit.
I think that'd be cool. I mean, I draft that way kind of anyway. I would like to see more, I'd like to see more rotisserie stuff. I'd rather it be like the top 6 scoring teams make the playoffs, and then it's head-to-head. I think there's too many times where it's like, oh, sweet, I put up the second most points in my league this week, but the guy that I played happened to be the one guy who scored more than me and I lost. So now I'm behind. I scored 130 points, and I'm 0-1, and the guy who scored 94 is 1-0 because he played someone who scored less. And I know that's kind of like how the game goes, but I'd rather say I kind of like the idea now of having head-to-head for the playoffs, and it's more rotisserie based during the regular season. And then it also adds more
I actually
like
think
trades and stuff, because then it's
I think it's like fine, and it could grow because there's room to grow, like, because you can't trade draft picks and stuff like that, and
I wish
stuff I've always said. And there's definitely things you can add to it that would be like, make it spicy. But at the same time, I just think like daily fantasy has like, it's just for our like culture now. I just, with the like, oh, I can get a new team every week, and I just feel like the options that you could do, because you could face like one guy head up, you could do 50-50s where half of the pool wins, half the pool doesn't win, you double your money, like, which is like, those are the safer options, quote unquote. Even though I think 50-50s suck. Or you could do like bigger tournaments. I don't know. There's just like, and I know that's obviously for like real money, and this is too, with the longer like payoff. But I just think like those are going to become, because people are already switching their like year-long leagues onto like a DraftKings platform, and then having the ability to do like week by week kind of. I think it would be fun if you could do like your year-long thing on like DraftKings, like a platform like that, even on whatever, it could be on Yahoo, blah blah blah. But week to week, there's like, I don't want to say prop bets, but there's things like laced into the league where it's like, every head to head is for, let's say, is for money, and then maybe the top score gets money on top of that. So there's like more, just a little more, skin in the game kind of thing, where it's like not this long payoff, because that's like harder and harder, especially for like, as more young people, like, you want to get more young people into it and stuff. I just don't think like people are gonna be like, oh, okay, let me pay our commissioner, whoever, like $100, and then maybe I'll get, $500 like 3 months from now. I just think that's going to get less and less popular, and people want to see like the kind of the quick like payoffs. So I feel like that kind of the merging of them might happen more.
Well, it depends what you're going for. Like if the sole objective is the money aspect, then yeah, I get it. I mean, I do fantasy more for like the enjoyment of it. My main league, I really like all the dudes that are in the league. We have like a very rare mix.
I mean, you can still do that, but on like DraftKings platform. I mean, I think you'd be pretty like.
I've never done daily. I just kind of like the intimacy of having like
awesome
a league, and I like trades and drafting, and
you can still do all that. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
You're just saying that because I just moved it to another platform. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah, but it's not like it's daily.
No, it's not daily. I'm saying they have season-long leagues on DraftKings now.
Oh, then yeah, then I don't care. I don't care what platform it's on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can do like year-long leagues. What I'm saying is add daily aspects into the league on a week-to-week basis. Still, like you have we're all putting up $100, and the winner's going to get this, and there's a payout at the end, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm saying you're going to need more like juice, like week to week.
So what do you do? Like guy who put up the highest points this week gets like $5?
Yeah, or just like under over like people on your team, maybe like in-game betting on your own team, or like mixed in, or like I don't know. Man, yeah,
that would be like, or if you like, who's RB1 is going to score
exactly
higher.
RB1 versus RB1, like $5, like head to head RB1 versus RB1.
That's so much though. That's so like intense.
Not really. I mean, the platform takes care of it for you.
No, I know. I'm not saying like the legwork. I'm saying like the thought process and like the betting aspect of it. Like it just adds so much. Like I guess if you're going for that from like the competitive nature of it, and or like the money aspect, if that's like your end game, I think that would be pretty cool. And I'd probably do like one of them. That'd be pretty sweet. But I don't know. It seems like, but maybe that's the way of it. I think that'd also be kind of cool. Yeah, like that.
Because I just think in the right context, I think daily is going to swallow everything up, because people want things now. Payoff. Yeah, man. Like, cool. Like I just made a random lineup, and before before Monday night's game even starts, you get paid out. So it's like, I don't know. It's just
people want that immediacy, and they want I gotta have it now.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna add, I don't know, it's got to be like an all-in thing. So you got to do
like wrestling.
You got to do you do your year long on the platform that you can also do daily on, that you can also do sports betting on.
That makes sense.
And I wouldn't say they all have to interconnect. They don't have to, but it's like, the daily aspects, you can do that. Like say in a head to head, you're like, oh, RB1, blah, blah, blah. You can just, you kind of just ask the other person, what do you want to do? Like maybe there's just an options menu and be like, and you just send it to them like you would send a trade, like, blah, blah, blah for cool. $5 or whatever, like, whatever.
Yep,
and video games, you like trade cards or something like that. And right. It's the same thing.
Like, oh, Alex Collins is going to score more points than, Mari Cooper this week. Like $5 on this, blah, blah, blah. That'd be kind of cool. I was just thinking it would be nuts if you did like a...
Yeah. Or what about this? I don't know. I'm just coming up with stuff. Or you do it in a manner where you bet points. So,
if Derrick Henry outscores Alex Collins, win,
you get plus 2 points, right?
Yeah, so you're betting the
points.
And
you don't have to use it that week. You can bank them and use them any week you want.
Oh, that's fucked. You know what's
the loser loses the points immediately for that matchup that week.
Oh, that's tricky.
Ooh, I just thought of this. I like where this is going. Like, because if you keep winning, it's like, oh, I can bank 10 points. I'm going to ride this into the goddamn playoff.
Yeah, I'm saving this to the championship week or when I need it, and then I'm using all of them.
Exactly.
Oh, that's tricky. I thought...
Sign me up, DraftKings. Sign me up. I know you're based out of Boston, but you have an office in New York City, and I'm in, man. I'm in.
I thought of combining like giant leagues, and it's all one league, but it's like all the same people, and you have to draft like a football fantasy team, baseball, hockey, basketball, and at the end of the year, it's like all tracked.
One player from each team, or one team?
You have like your standard like
one team.
Yeah, from
they sort of do that.
That would be crazy.
So they don't do it year long, but they do it in a format where, because DraftKings is starting to get more into that stuff, as they should, like the bigger eliminator pools and, these super contests that Vegas does and stuff like that. DraftKings should be copying this, obviously, because eliminator pool is like free money for them. But they do that where they mix sports, and you kind of have to pick like 3 different things that are going on, almost like parlays, I guess, like between sports. It's yeah, you can do anything, I think.
Well, the landscape of fantasy changing.
But that would be dope, I guess. So a year long, like actually not year long, like calendar year long.
Yes. So everything counts, and it's
you pick.
It's like, oh well, like I won my fantasy.
How big? How big's the tournament / is it just like, oh, these 12 guys, these 10 guys, that kind of thing?
Yes, it's 12 guys. So, but everything is connected. So like we'll just for the sake of it, like the year starts with, we'll start it with the, it would end when baseball ends, and it would start when football starts. Or you'd have to like rotate it and back it up each year. So like we start with football this year, right? So I draft my 16. It's 12 people in the league, 16-man roster, play fantasy football for that year, and then you also draft an NBA team and an NHL team and then an MLB team, and it's like.
Yeah, I think it's too long for this day and age.
It's too long, but it would be like crazy. I'm not saying it's like realistic. I just think it would be like cool or like crazy. And then it's not like championship based, so it's not like, oh, I won my football league. It's like I finished with, X amount of points, and then but I only finished with X amount of points in my basketball league, so I need to finish more in hockey and baseball to win the championship. Like the championship was whoever has the most points spread across all 4 major sport fantasy.
No, I get it. It's that weird thing they do in the NCAA is where they give the school with all the sports who have the points, like gymnastics and volleyball and all that stuff, some weird trophy at the end.
I don't like that, but it's a war of attrition.
You don't know what that is?
Do I what?
Like UCLA wins every year because like they have like a good swimming program and volleyball, whatever. It's like the football, baseball. It's like all the teams get this weird combined score, and then like they give this weird trophy. Like
it would be like that for fantasy. But it's just such a war of attrition basically. And I do football. I used to do baseball and hockey every once in a while, but baseball, I mean, 162 games, it's so much. And I know you can like do
baseball and blah.
You can automatically set. I turned off of baseball when I was younger. I was in like high school, and so I didn't have like super access, but I went away for like a week, and I set my lineup all in advance for like that whole week and did everything. But during the week I was gone, like my first baseman, my shortstop, and my third baseman like all got hurt and missed the whole week, and I got crushed in the rotisserie. And I was just like, this sucks. And I was just tired of like having to do all that. And I know now it's easier with like the apps and you can auto set lineups and it's easier to move things in there, but it's such a grind for baseball and even basketball and hockey. Like you're looking at 82 games each. Like it's just so much.
What about if you did a
loser dies league?
I would say, I guess it's gotta be year long, even though I think that's a little too long. But what happens if you do a WWE?
Oh boy.
One just for.
I'm picking Roman Reigns.
It's not wins.
He's not the first pick. He's not the last pick. He's the pick.
Well, that's true. It is. Okay, here's the format. It's just for pay-per-views, or it could be just for the big four, however you want to do it. And you get points. It's almost like Daily Fantasy does MMA scoring. You get like points for like, I guess just certain things. I don't know. Like it couldn't be like punches and drop kicks because that would be like crazy hard to like.
Oh my god, for punches thrown.
Calculate, but I think it's possible to do something like that because it's all through jet.
Or like time a move is held. So like. If Cena puts someone in like the STF, you get a point for every second he has somebody in that move.
Because if you do it over the year, then you can't really predict the storylines that far out.
How many bumps they take in a match?
Like if you do it after WrestleMania, let's see, it's like, oh, every bump is a quarter point. A championship win equals this amount. Exactly. Championship win equals this amount.
You could do a daily fantasy for wrestling. That'd be very interesting. Like
daily fantasy, you could just do it pay-per-view based.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so you do it like who wins each match, and then you have like inside things in like, does anyone go through a table? Who uses a weapon? Do they win via submission or pinfall? Punches thrown, bumps taken, like suicide dives executed.
Yeah, and daily, and the way daily works is like you have to start out with like a salary and then pick people. And it's like, okay, I know this person's winning, so it's like wins. I mean, not that the wins aren't important, whatever. You'd just have to throw other things in there that are sort of like more unpredictable, like your generic move sets and like
pinfalls attempted. Oh,
whatever, just finishers this amount or like blah blah blah. Just kind of random, almost like prop bets.
You get points out of like how many, or you get X amount of points for like how many like times kicked out of a finisher.
Right, that's good. That's good. 5 points for every 2 count you kick out of.
5, yeah, like 2 points for every 2 count kicked out of. 5 points for every finisher kicked out of.
It's definitely doable. If they did MMA, which I thought was like going to be hard.
Yeah.
But it's like feasible now. I mean, it's a little bit skewed towards, what it's really skewed towards is if somebody throws a lot of punches and finishes somebody in the first round because punches are a lot. I don't know if they changed it a little bit, but I knew like, stand up was definitely like skewed towards stand up instead of like ground and pound kind of guys because the takedowns were only so many, and then you're not getting points for how much time you're on top or anything. It's like something like that. So it's just like throwing hands,
right?
So and then you got points like, 100 in the first round, 75 in the second round, 50 in the third round, that kind of thing. So if you guys just was throwing guys like, complete stand up, like boom or bust, like he's either going to get knocked out or knock out somebody, like that's what the thing was. So if they figured out a way to do that, then there's definitely a way to figure out the WWE, and especially in like bigger pay-per-views, I think you could do it.
We could create
like
that.
Because in a WrestleMania it's like 14 matches, you know what I'm saying? So
why
it's
don't
like
we create that?
If you can pick 5, like typically,
can we create that? That would be an easy thing to do.
I know in MMA and in golf it's a lower amount. It's like 5 guys you can pick. Right. So I think that's very similar. Like do it like that. Like you could pick 5 things. Like you could do a tag team if you want. But it's like
she said,
because there's 14 matches on the card, 28 participants, kind of thing. Like picking 5, that's definitely gonna make lineups diverse, because that's what you don't want is like super similar lineups, and that kind of happens sometimes in the MMA. But I think that would work, especially on a like a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania where they have a lot of matches and you just have to pick like 5. That could definitely work, and you just got to price it correctly. Right?
I think that'd be pretty sweet. I'd be in for that.
Yeah, I think that would think that would work. Like I do definitely think there's a route for that, but it's like, would that be popular with the people that are on the platform already? And I'm just guessing probably not. So,
hey.
I mean, it's maybe a reason they do the sports they do. I mean, they basically do everything, but it's like,
why not this?
I mean, it could. I mean, I'm sure one day. I mean, if there's a way to make a buck, then somebody will do it. So, all right, thanks for listening. And if you like this episode, or if you like us in general, follow us at AA Talk Stuff on Instagram mainly, also on Twitter and Facebook. And we'll see you next week.